right, people, we're live here on Facebook, Sunset Sunday again. My name is Greg Smith. I'm here with friend and business partner, Kent Robinson. What's going on, man?
Hey, either one is fine.
Everyone is fine. Okay.
Hey, what's up, brother Greg Smith?
Man,
I had to do it Baptist style today.
You had to do a what?
I had to say your name Baptist style today.
Baptist style?
Yeah.
Hold on, let me turn on the back light. What's that?
Oh, you know how some of the Baptist ministers got to emphasize every word they say at the end.
Oh yeah, syllables and all that mess. Yeah. I know how that is. I guess, but I've only been to a few Baptist churches, so I'm not, and I really ain't with them. What is this? Them apostolic.
I've been to one, and that's all I've been to.
I've been to a few of them, and that was crazy for me one time.
Yeah.
What's going on here? I'm not seeing. Okay, there we are. I wasn't seeing that we were on.
Okay.
Just kind of sharing this out. Well, today's show, I know last week I had talked about this was going to be the last with the panel, but I happened to run into a thing on YouTube that I thought I needed to share, because we have been talking since this pandemic about home-based business or working from home. This segment of this show, we're not going to be talking about working from home based off of a job. We're going to be emphasizing home-based business type stuff. And with this climate that we in, people need to understand why you need those type of things. And there's a video I ran into, and it talks why you need a home-based business. Okay, it's not saying, oh yeah, home-based business is good for this and that, but it does that, but it emphasizes a necessity, even if you are working a job. Okay, especially now that we have a situation, in our economy, even though some job unemployment things went down slightly, they said, we are in a situation where this is nothing to jack around with. People need to understand it's a necessity. It's like I said, you need the internet. You need, because this is a utility that's a need. At one time, it was like a luxury or tool type thing. Not no more, people. These type of things that are we're in a climate that is a need for these type of things now. And if you don't understand that, you'll understand that tonight. I'm sharing a video out with this is a lady named Dr. Lynn Richerdson. Ran into a video on Facebook. So let me go see if I pull this thing up. Okay, here it is. Get a look at this. Okay. You need a home-based business and how to start with Dr. Lynn Richerdson.
It's a must. It's a must. It's a must. And we see the situation that, is going on in the world. And even if this situation wasn't going on in the world, this is something you've been preaching for years and years and years, right? So you can talk pandemic, you can talk pre-pandemic, just overall in general, why? Because you are passionate about this, right? This is something that you've been harping to people for a long time. So let's just start there. Where's the passion coming from when you give this message that we must have a home-based business? Whether we have a 9 to 5 or not, we must have a home-based business. Where's that coming from?
Wow. Well, first of all, it is, thank you. I am having the best.
Okay, what's going on? It's my streaming, people. Sorry about that. It's happening.
Best time of my life. And the good thing about that is I'm doing what I always envisioned, and that was to help other people be free. The bad part about that I'm having so much fun, is that my whole entire team has put restrictions on me. Because I guess I'm working too hard. I'm almost about to pass out. And I'm like, why can't I work? I literally got on the phone. They had my pastor mentor. Well, my pastors were on camera, but the man who ordained me, Elder Robert Pierce, he called me and got on the phone and basically told me to rest. And I started crying because I wanted to work. Like, I started crying. So if that tells you like how much I love helping people to see the truth. I mean, I was crying because I couldn't work like a 2-year-old. So the passion comes from literally me failing at everything. As it relates to money. I was born and raised in Chicago. My grandmother was 75 years old, cleaning homes for wealthy people, putting me through college. We grew up in the projects. I knew we weren't rich, but I didn't feel poor. If I needed money for anything, she'd tell me to go look in the room on top of the shelf, behind the book, inside my pocketbook, inside the zipper, wrapped up in a piece of paper towel, $20. So when I went off to college, I didn't know anything about money. She told me to go to school, get a good education, get a good job, go to church on Sunday, wear clean underwear in case you get hit by a bus. But I did not know anything about money. So when I got off to college, I had a bunch of credit cards, couldn't pay anybody. And I had a bad experience with money. I left college, my credit was jacked up, and I really thought my life was doomed. I did not know what to do differently. And I also did not think I needed to change anything. That is an aha moment right here in this moment. There are a lot of people who don't know what to do differently and don't think they need to change. That's a recipe for disaster. And that's where I was. Things weren't working the way I thought they should, but I didn't think I needed to change. And so I continued on that path of not dealing with the truth. So fast forward, I'm married, I have 3 children, big old house in the suburbs. Now I'm making all the money. So that's why I'm thinking that what I was doing was right. But then what happens? I'm living check to Monday. See, check to check is a blessing. That means you get paid on Friday. By the next payday, you're broke. But check to Monday is a whole nother story. You get paid on Friday, you kick it on the weekend, you pay on your past 2 bills. And by Monday, you're broke. And I'm educated with a degree in math and economics and finance. Come on. The combination don't get any deeper than that. I should have known how to learn how to manage money, but I was an educated fool. So the passion comes from making these mistakes. So because I made all those mistakes, I was making $80,000, $90,000 a year still broke. No matter how much money I made, I always found a way to be broke. So this is very critical for everybody who's out there. You know you need to do something differently, but you don't think you need to change. The change comes from within. So I am passionate about this because I am a living witness. If I can do it, anybody can do it. And so, of course, spending less money. I tell everybody to live by the 10, 10, 30, 50. The first 10% you tithe, the next 10% you save, 30% is cash in your pocket to keep you from having a spending addiction. A spending addiction is what you have when you go to the store for toothpaste and walk out with $179.47 worth of stuff you don't need. 50% stays in your checking account for your bills. If you have more than enough, that's not a license to go spend. See, in our culture, we come from the history of not having, and our culture has told us that we need to look like we got it. Let me tell you something. Rich people stay rich because they act poor, and poor people stay poor because they act rich. And poor people stay poor acting rich in front of other poor people, which is crazy as all get out. So the goal there, if you have more than enough money, is to eliminate your debt, because there's a middleman between you and your wealth, and it's called interest. If you don't have enough money, you must subtract. So it starts there. Subtract what? Subtract that car, subtract that house, subtract those clothes, subtract that kid in school, whatever. It doesn't mean that they don't go to school. It means you line them up with the philosophy at the Richardson household. I told my kids, listen, school is free. If you get A's, you go to school for free. If you get C's, you're going to the free school. Either way, it's going to be free for me. So we have to disconnect ourselves from the things that we think give us value. So the first step is to spend less money. The next step is to get more money, multiple streams of income. But the third thing is to get your money back. And I have to go through those three pieces because it is a system and the three of them work together. And it wasn't until I learned how to get my money back that my whole entire life transformed. So everybody has to have a home-based business. Everybody has to have a home-based business because the more money you make, the more the IRS will take. It's no wonder why people are struggling when they go from making $20,000, then they make $40,000, then they get married and have a few kids, and then maybe your household income is now $80,000. And it seems like the more money the average household makes, the more debt that they are in, or the more financial struggle they have.
What do you think about all that, man? What do you think about the concept you said, spend less in a society of consumers and bad to say, but a lot of times black folks are the biggest consumers in the world.
Yeah, it's I don't want to sound, hyperbolic here, but it's almost antithetical to the way most of us were raised. And she hit it right on the head. Most poor folk want to look rich, and most rich folks want to look poor.
Yeah, you got a lot of people what they call. My mom said fake rich.
Right.
Now she talks about getting your money back. Well, let's go back and see what she is talking about in that aspect.
All right.
Because with more money now comes along the things that come with more money. Okay, so now we have a bigger family. Now we're going to buy a home. Now we're going to put our kids in this activity, that activity. So what's happening is the money is increasing like this. Okay, it's going up, but the IRS is coming and taking it down. So you take 5 steps forward and you take 10 steps back. You take 20 steps forward, you take 30 steps back. And the only way to change the game is to get your money back. Why? So what do I mean by get your money back? I literally mean this. If you went to the grocery store and you bought $300 worth of groceries and you ate all your groceries, had a good time. My husband's cooking breakfast right now. I'm having breakfast in the middle of the day. I'm so hungry. Imagine you ate all your good food and then the grocery store manager called you back in 2 weeks and said, come back and get your money. You'd say, what? Let me tell you, we'd stop, drop, and roll right now off of this Skype. Everybody would go get their money. Well, that's what the government says when you have a business. So the government says if you have a business, that cell phone that you were using, now you can get your money back. These things are causing people to be broke. How much is an iPhone now?
A car payment. A monthly bill is a car payment. Yep.
It's like a college education right here in this phone. Mm-hmm. So the IRS says, but if you use it for business, I'll give you your money back. The IRS says if you have a home-based business, when you drive that car, I'll give you your money back. The IRS says if you have a business, when you go on a trip, a business trip, I will give you your money back. The IRS says that 475 times. Just think about that. 475 times. Now, the average person only has about 12 to 15 things that we are consistently spending our money on. That consistently. But the IRS says 475 times, if you do this, I will get you your money back. And it only happens when you have a home-based business. So people try to wonder why the wealthy rich pay less taxes. Let me tell you the difference between rich and wealthy rich. Rich was Antoine Walker, the NBA player who had a $112 million contract. You hear that. I remember being young and watching the NBA draft or hearing the news and like, wow, these people are getting this kind of money. We think they're rich. But Antoine Walker was bankrupt 2 years out of the NBA. His whole career was about 5 to 7 years. bankrupt with $112 million, that's because he owed taxes of $55 million, right? Then he owed management and agency fees for about $30 million. So with the money that he had left, he had already overspent, couldn't pay the bill by the time it was due, but not Warren Buffett, not Mitt Romney, not Jeff Bezos, not the average business owner that you see walking down the street. And let me tell you something, they don't care about how they look. Sometimes the clothes don't even match. They got on penny loafers and a pair of Levi's and a little white shirt, but they got wealth. So how do we get that? Because I think that there's a disconnect. People think that somebody like me, you think I'm somebody? I mean, I am somebody in God's eyesight, but I'm no different than you. I'm no different than anybody who is watching this. I was born in the projects. My grandmother had an 8th grade education. Nobody came and picked me up and said, okay, we're going to drop you into wealthy land. No. So if you understand the rules of the game and then play the game by the rules, then you too can achieve and acquire the kind of financial independence that you're looking for. So here's what starts to happen. I'm like, oh, okay, so the IRS says if I do this, I get my money back. So now I start paying attention. Oh, wait a minute. The IRS says, let me tell you something. Everything I do is business. IRS said I can get my money back 475 times. Let me tell you, I think I have to know 473 of them. I have to, because everything I do is business. I have 3 children. Ask them. They don't get birthday presents, Christmas presents, graduation, no presents. Why? Because I can't get that money back. But if I pay them a salary, if I hire my kids to work in my home-based business, okay? Because the government loves business. It operates on 2 systems. I'll tell you about that in a moment. But if I hire my kids to work in my business, to do social media, to help me at events, to help with filing, to do bookkeeping, to tidy things up around the home because I have a home office. There are many things that kids can do in a business. And a lot of times your kids are smarter than these people out here that you're trying to go hire.
Ken, did you know that about hiring your kids or your kid for your business?
I knew a little bit, but I didn't know to the extent on what Dr. Richardson was talking about. I'm like, dang, I wish I would have thought of that.
I mean, it still ain't too late. We're still in business. You know, biggest problem most people don't understand about business, and they complain about the wealthy, as Dr. Richardson talks about, the tax breaks. Okay. Mm-hmm. And especially as a home-based business owner, as she was talking about, there's 450 something tax shelters that you can take advantage of. Some of us only take about maybe 3 or 4 of them, but she's talking about 400 something. So, you know, that's the information we're wanting to share out to the public about this, as far as why you need to own a home-based business. Because, granted, most people, after this, we're going to break down some things. I got a slide I want to show on why you need to be doing this too and what she's talking about. Let's go back to more of what she's saying.
I know so many brilliant, talented, anointed, and gifted entrepreneurs and business owners who are sitting at home struggling like octopuses. Is that a word? Octopi? Is it? I don't even know how you say it. The octopus plural. It has to be octopi. I just made up the word. Like octopi with 12 arms trying to do everything, and your kids sitting there on social media. Yeah. See, we have to get into dynasty building. So the IRS says the IRS loves businesses so much, and the SBA, who is really big news right now, talk about them too, thought it was so important that they wrote a whole article on it. 5 reasons to hire your kids. One of which, that there are no federal labor laws when your kids work in your home-based business. They can do data entry. They can do it at 4 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. There's no limit on the number of hours they work or on the time of the day. Do you think that those laws were an accident? They were not an accident. Everything is intentional. So the IRS says, I can hire those kids, pay them a salary. Now with the money that they make, they can go buy their own presents. They can go buy their own gifts.
Christmas every day.
They can pay for their own tuition.
Yeah.
They can buy their own diapers. They can pay for their own shoes. They can pay for their own stuff. So now I get the money back because I understand the money game. So that's what we have to learn. So the IRS says when you have a home-based business and you run your business like a business. So the first reason why this is a game changer and I'm so passionate about it, because you know, we can tell people, listen, one day you have to retire. Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, listen, one day you might need an emergency, so save. Oh, okay, yeah. But start telling people you can get your money back. Oh, see, then everybody's at attention. Everybody's at, what? Wait, you said to get my money back? I came to full attention because we don't have a lack of financial literacy or a lack of financial independence because we don't know. Everybody knows you should save some money. Everybody knows we shouldn't spend more than we have. But what happens is emotions and feelings of having to have value get in the way of those decisions, and we kind of block that out, and then we look up and we're not where we want to be. But tell somebody you can get your money back. See, that changes the game. But see, then now you have to follow the rules. You have to follow the rules. So the IRS says if you work in your home-based business and run it like a business with the intent to make a profit. So you have to understand the rules, because naysayers, haters, blockers, and crab barrel leg pullers will try to tell you, well, no, they're lying. Listen to what I'm saying and then go back it up with the IRS. Everything that I learned about taxes in a home-based business, I learned from Sandy Botkin, who used to be an IRS attorney. He used to train the IRS agents on how to go out and get people in audits. So it doesn't get any bigger than that. For the past 12 years, I've been following him and learning from him. But more than that, all he does is teach self-employed business owners how to get their money back. So now you can get your money back. Now everybody's at attention. So when you get your money back, you can't just do it how you want to do it. Guess what? You actually have to learn the rules of the game. You got to learn the rules of the game, which means now you have to get a financial education. You can't get around it because you can't just get your money back. Look at what has just happened with the pandemic. This thing that has never been presented before. What happened? They put people in two categories. Employees over here, you can apply for unemployment. You can get what, $600 a week, and you can get your economic stimulus for $1,000 at the most, $2,000, somewhere around there. Those employees. But businesses, submit your application to the EIDL. We're giving away $10,000 grants. $10,000. I applied, got mine. All right. Then they said the Paycheck Protection Program, tell us what you did in revenue for the whole year. We're going to do a calculation. We're going to give you what. I got that too. And guess what? I didn't apply as Lynn Richerdson, the president of Sunny Girl Entertainment, a huge firm, a multi-million-dollar firm in California. I did not apply I applied as Lynn Richerdson, sole proprietor, so I could prove that it works. So when you have a home-based business, you get in the same, I was in the same category as all those big companies that got the money and had to give it back, right? So if you are a DJ, if you do hair, if you do nails, if you have a home school, if you are a consultant, if you are a coach, if you are an Uber driver, if you are a multi-level marketing company, if you are anybody who earns cash or gets a 1099, now we're all in this category. Why? Because businesses are the engine of the economy. And a car without an engine cannot drive. I don't care.
Wow, that's a lot of information. Well, you know, I know a lot of people that are hairdressers, some DJs. I don't know any Uber drivers, but she's broken down a lot of things that I guess if you're watching and seeing all this, you have the availability of tax shelters, as I had always said, as the big conglomerates. What she just said is that she filed as just Lynn Richardson's solo proprietor, not just from like I named my company GJS Enterprises. So I guess when you do your taxes and for all those type of things, this apply as a sole proprietor and you get put in the category. And like she said, you got to go in business to make a profit. There's too many people think, you know, we get into this thing about relationship thing, building in business, but the one thing people got to understand, business is about making money. And the relationships come and go. Yeah, you want to have a relationship with folks. I'm not denying that. But at the end of the day, business is about making money. Okay? Just like people go to the job. You go to the job to get a paycheck. Okay? So that's what you got to really understand. When you're in business, you got to run it as a business to make sure you get those advantages that she had just talked about. When you got somebody that's worth what was it? Hammer was worth $350 million and went broke.
Yeah.
Something like that. And Mike Tyson was something like that too. Well, see, this is where we get into this sports thing. All these multimillionaires, but they don't know how to handle their money. Okay, they might have all these multiple $million-dollar contracts. Don't mean stuff if you don't know how to handle your money. It's not so much how much you make is what you do, or how much you get to keep. And that's what she's talking about. Let's go back and see more what she's talking about here.
Okay, what's new to it? And a country without a business cannot thrive. So everybody has to have a home-based business. Now, first, you get your money back. That should be enough. But here's the next step. One stream of income is hazardous to your wealth. Go on out there on the rules from 40 years ago if you want to. It's on the rules that said, graduate from high school, get a good job, and retire in 30 years. Try it if you want to. Doesn't work. And it doesn't work for anybody anymore. We used to think that there was a category of jobs that were safe. There are no safe jobs anymore. Not even the teachers. And that's a crime. Teachers should be at the top of the list of everything. So teachers are going on strike. If you work for the government, they've been furloughed. People who thought that they were safe from any kind of job elimination, people who thought that they were safe are also facing the same issues. Now, I need to take us back to history. We have had multiple streams of income since the beginning of time. Since the beginning of time. Since the beginning of time. The virtuous woman of Proverbs had 9 jobs. She was a seamstress. She planted a vineyard. She planted that out of her profit. I think she was a real estate investor because she sold something and she purchased something and earned a profit, and out of her profit, she planted a vineyard. She was a trader. She went to the merchant ships. We've been having multiple streams of income since the beginning. Something happened along the way. We thought we got a little too smart. We got real technologically savvy. You know, we got the telephone. You know, they had outhouses. Now we got indoor plumbing. So we thought that elevated us to a state where we could get one profession, do one job. Look at the greats. I came to the industry, the very first place I worked in entertainment was for Russell Simmons. Look how many companies he sold for $100 million. Look at Bill Gates, look at Oprah, look at the people who are thriving. So what I'm saying is that's what the average person can do. One stream of income is hazardous to your wealth. Everybody needs a home-based business. Now, you can write off your car when you drive it for business. You can write off your house, rooms in your house when you have a home office. You can write off travel and entertainment. Let me tell you something, no entertainment. Let me take that back, no entertainment. They took that out of the rules. So everybody, when people tell me they're going on vacation, I laugh. You going on a what? First of all, you ain't on vacation. The vacation is on you. Because 9 times out of 10, when people go on vacation, they spending their bill money. Y'all know you can go and laugh at that. The vacation is on you. You are not on a vacation. It's on you. And you just spent your rent money or whatever else, and you done went on vacation. Now you come home, and now you trying to figure out how you're going to pay the bills. Same thing with Christmas. We spend our last dime and next month rent and start off the new year. We got to end the cycle. Then we begging for the tax refund. We get the tax refund. We happy for 2 minutes, and then we broke again. You see, the Bible says, he who is faithful with little will be faithful with much. He who is unfaithful with little will be unfaithful with much. Who can be trusted with true riches? What's true riches? Peace, abundance, the ability to make jobs and opportunities for other people. Who can be trusted with true riches if you can't handle unrighteous money? It's not even righteous. So here's what I learned. Being smart, wasn't it? Straight A student, all of that. Making more money, that wasn't it. I could go out and make more money. But here's the problem with making more money. Now, first of all, we're talking about something illegal. that ain't even on my radar. Let's go to all the legal things. You can never work as hard for money as it can work for itself. Money works harder for itself than you can ever work for it. When you amass a certain amount of money, and then you put that money and get it to working for itself, over time, our wealth ambassadors, we had a great call last night on investing, dollar cost averaging over time, staying with it and sticking with it. Money will work harder for you than you can ever work for it. So why work that hard? Now, be excellent. Do your part. It's not going to happen overnight. You have to put the time in. And then one of the other things people say, well, which business is the best business? That's like asking, which prescription do you need? For what? Like, what prescription do you need? Well, I'm coughing. Well, we don't know if you got the coronavirus. Maybe you just have a cold. Maybe you have bronchitis. Who knows? Maybe you have pneumonia. You have to be willing to sit still and find out what God has for you. Because in Jeremiah 29:11, he says, I have plans to prosper you, not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. But look at the key word, plans. It doesn't happen by happenstance. And we're thinking that we can find a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, get a sugar daddy or sugar mama, or get a winning lottery ticket. Now, there are people out there who do that, and God bless them. But if you want to get in the game of controlling your own situation, I dare you to get a home-based business. Run your business like a business. Get a financial education. See, here's the thing about a financial education. I've seen people take how to start a home-based business or do the freedom package. They get the 21 days of financial freedom to clean up their financial issues. They get how to start a home-based business. I've seen people say, the very first time I heard the concept.
Okay. That's a lot. You know, she gave some, you know, biblical stuff that, you know, if those who are watching or, you know, always talk about the word, hey, there's stuff in the Bible that talks about finance, people, you know. So sometimes we act like we can't be wealthy and be with the church or whatever, okay? Yeah, a lot of times we got this attitude that we got to be poor to go to heaven or whatever. That don't make sense, okay? If you believe in the Solomon story, King Solomon was the richest man around. I mean, those kind of things. You know, there's a lot of things she's given a lot of information about, you know, just about wealth, how to acquire it, and basically the people who acquire wealth got businesses. Would you not agree on that Ken? On what she says? Hello?
Okay, now you froze up for a second.
Oh, okay. I said, would you agree on, you know, most of the wealthy people have businesses?
Oh, yeah, no, without question. Without question.
Yeah. So you have to be cognitive on that tip on business development. And I'm gonna go show a slide that I have. Let me go here. There we go.
Okay. Yep. Now it's coming up.
Okay. Most of you have probably seen this. Go back. This quadrant thing. We go back here. And what she's talking about, the income, the tax things that you get when you own a business, okay? You don't get those tax breaks when you are an employee, okay? 100% times of income goes out to a lot of it, you know, it goes back to the not 100%, but a lot, you pay back a lot in taxes, okay? All right, you don't have any leverage, so most of that goes back there. If you're self-employed in a sense, you still are better than being an employee, okay? You've probably seen this. This is where most people of the wealthy go on. They pay maybe 1% in taxes in their income, okay? Because they own a system or a business. This is where she's talking about where Warren Buffett plays over here in the investment game. And like she said, it's a game. I want to show you something when she's talking about the sports figures. Okay, look at this. These industries. The NFL is a $9.5 billion industry. The music industry, $16.5 billion. Video gaming is $67 billion. I didn't know there was that much in that. The movie industry, which is hurting now because of this COVID and all production has stopped, and no movies are being released. It just talked about AMC got a grant for $500 million, but if they don't open up by, they said they can survive by Thanksgiving. They don't open up that by then, they probably through. Organic products is $97 million. Now the industry that she's kind of talking about, but the whole network marketing is part of that home-based business. That industry is worth $167 billion, people. That's the industry she's talking about, okay? Now let's look here, home-based business. Excuse me, okay? They said in America, just in America, home-based businesses started every 12 seconds. They say 7,200 every day, 300 an hour, 5 every minute. Right now, this industry, from what I just gave you, this is another statistic, that industry, the home-based business industry, that's including like network marketing and all, it's worth $427 billion, okay? So this is the money that is worth, that can be generated if you wanted your piece of pie of that. Now, when she's talking about residual income, now, when you go to bed at night and you wake up in the morning, you go take a shower, does the water still run? Right. Does the light still come on? Right, if you've paid the bill. So you got what they call residual bills. Why not have residual income, people? Okay? You gotta think in those terms, and why not? Because the biggest problem most of us, let me go back here. The biggest problem most of us are facing is when we leave a job, especially if you're doing an hourly thing, your income stops. You go to a job, you work 8, 12 hours, whatever, being paid hourly. Once you leave the job, once you're off the clock, right? You're working from home, but once that you off the clock and just weekend, your income from that job stops, okay? This is why she's saying that you must, in today's, when you got JCPenney, Nationwide, like you said, AMC, all these places are laying off or cutting back or restructuring their businesses. The only solution to save is to start a home-based business. And I'm not talking about, I'm talking about home-based because and like she said, get your money back. It's the tax breaks. When she talks about getting your money back, that's all what she's talking about. Tax breaks. We got mad because we didn't know what 45's taxes were. I granted, everybody was all up in arms, still up in arms about that. But really, what difference does it make? It's not going to put no money in your pocket because of whether the business that he's in, he pays little to no taxes. Jeff Bezos pays little to, everybody was up in arms. Well, Amazon, they're paying no taxes, but because they're a business. Okay? See, this is one of the problems I had in the political game when, what's her name? The older lady. I can't think of her name right now. She was talking about everybody was talking about making these businesses pay their fair share. Well, if you understand the Federal Reserve and all that.
Elizabeth Warren. Yeah,
Elizabeth Warren. Them cats ain't gonna pay, they're gonna pay what there's required until you change the tax laws, as what Dr. Richardson has said. There's 450 tax breaks as a business owner. So when you got politicians talking about, oh, we're gonna make them pay their fair share, you're not gonna make them pay shit unless you change the laws. The laws state this is what they can do. I mean, I don't know why people get upset about that, but that's what the law says. Let's go back to his slide here. Right here. Okay, I know people have heard of franchise, okay? And they probably want to know what the cost of starting a home-based business. A home-based business can range from as low as $100 to $200 to $500. But if you compare it to, if you're trying to get into a franchise, Hampton Hotels, $3 million to $13 million. AM PM, $1 million to $7 million. McDonald's franchise, $1,757 to $1,885,000. 7-Eleven, 30,000 to 604,000. Supercuts, 112 million. How many of these people, how many of you got all this kind of money laying around? If you get my drift right here, all these take a lot of investment to get into. I went with a friend of mine who tried to get into like a something like a Subway. That she had to have 7,000 in the bank, people. She had to have 7,000 in the bank before they even no, that's not right. She had to have 60,000 in the bank. You hear me? Before they even consider the franchise fee was $100,000. So when people talk about they ain't got money to start a home-based business, do the comparison: 100 to 500 to $1 million to 100,000. What do you mean? You can't find $100 somewhere to start a home-based business? That's no excuse. And the time quotient is bullshit too. For the simple fact, we all are walking around with this. The thing that you only need in today's market is an internet connection and a device. Let's go back and look at this thing. And this is the troubling thing that I thought was troubling. They say that average rent in the US this is 2 years ago, was $1,419 a month. For rent to be approximately 1/4 of income as recommended, a person would have to acquire an income of $5,676 a month, and 40 hours per week. That's $35.04 an hour. That means you have to make $35 an hour, $36 an hour to even require a 1/3 of your income to afford your rent. The federal minimum wage, people, the federal minimum wage is only $7.25, and that's for non-tipped employees. For tipped employees, it's $2.13. So how in the hell do you expect people to survive with that? And they're talking about just 15. So if 15, they're still $15, $16 behind the 8 ball to afford rent and average rent. A nice place to live at in the US today. If it's $1,500, $400 something dollars, that's crazy. I mean, what's your thoughts on that, Kent, man?
Yes, I mean, as my grandmother would say, that's still just can live money. You know, that's you're still, because God forbid you lose that, you lose that income, and you have no quote unquote fallback to back it up, or as we all know, especially in this pandemic, if you get sick, or if you're in a serious accident, I mean, you might as well, not to be glib about it, but you might as well cancel Christmas, because your income's gonna stop.
Yeah,
Those are gonna keep coming, but with that job-based income, that's pretty much gonna stop, because they're gonna keep going with or without you.
well, yeah, and the sad part about this is, like you said, if you get sick, and there's these out front workers who who are getting sick with this pandemic. I'm not sure what a nurse makes. They probably make maybe some, depending on how long they've been in the game.
Exactly.
If they get sick, their income stops also.
Exactly.
When you are an employee, you're vulnerable to the system that is at hand. You're vulnerable to what they want to pay you, how they want to pay you, if they're going to pay you, and if you're there and like you said, you get sick, something happens, your income stops. With a home-based business that has acquired and set up things to acquire a residual type income, you have that safety net, which you don't have. And like she said, Dr. Richardson said, you know, especially the Black communities, we've been always taught, you know, I've been remember everybody, oh, go get you a government job. Go work. What is it in Columbus? Go work for the state.
Hey, yeah.
And I had friends that have been with the state. When was it? Back in that 2012, they were trying to get rid of a lot of people in the state, doing all these cutbacks and stuff. So there is no such thing. I don't care if you're state government, local government, or federal government. There's no such thing as a safe job, people, because the economy has flipped the script. Okay, you got to keep your head on a swivel on everything now, especially when you work on that plantation. It's not a safe place when you're talking about your finances and you depend on that one stream of income. As Dr. Richardson said, it's financial suicide. And I don't know when a lot of us are going to wake up to the fact, you know, I hear people talking about they don't have time. You lose your job, what you going to do? You'll find time to go look for another job and run that same cycle again. Instead of, as you say once before, digging your well now, so you won't have to drink in it before you need it.
Right.
You
want to dig your well before you get thirsty.
Yeah, you need to dig the well. You need to set up all that stuff now. While, you know, if you're working a job, you need to set up something. And plus, you need to think about your family. You cannot will your job to your kids. Those are other things that she hasn't mentioned, but those are things I'm trying to tell you. You know, with all the tax stuff and all that stuff, you need to think about last expense things to help. And with a business, that stuff can go. If the business is set up, make it income, that can go to your kids so they have some money to bury you or whatever they're going to do with it. We spend so much time, you hear, with GoFundMe stuff. I mean, come on. I mean, when we going to get out of the notion of we got our work ethic way misplaced in a country now that doesn't really value who we are. And they, you know, with all the things that have been going on with all these protests, and they still going with the George Floyd thing and all this kind of stuff. The one thing you're going to have to understand is that you got to have something outside the system. Let me look at this one thing. I had something that Dr. Claude Anderson, I thought, said, or did I put it on here? I'm not sure. Maybe I didn't put it on here. I'm not sure. No, I didn't put it on here. Let me see that. No, I didn't put it on there. But he said basically he was saying that black folk haven't progressed one iota since 16 something. That's bad to say. That's real bad to have to think that way, but it's crazy. That's the situation that has happened, and mostly any other ethnic. You know, I hear a lot of people always talking about Tulsa, Oklahoma, Red Rosewood. What happened there? People, I understand that's not the kind of business that we're talking about now. You're talking about a brick and mortar type of business. We're talking about using social media and the internet to do things, digital wise, a home-based business. You got to tell everybody about your home-based business. I mean, you tell people that you can help. You don't tell everybody, people that want to destroy it. It's kind of hard, unless the whole internet and shit fall apart, then everybody's fucked. I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, let's be real about it. People, you're in a situation now. Back in the day, maybe a home-based business was like an extra thing to have. It is critical, especially in the black and brown, especially in the black community, even the Latinos, the brown communities, or whatever that one called. They got businesses, okay? Hell, in Columbus, they used to talk about Mount Vernon was an all-black neighborhood with businesses and stuff.
Exactly.
When she was talking about what happened, why did we think, what happened from having businesses to going to the industrial? If you understand the industrial age, we got in this discussion once before, you know, I've heard people talking about, well, great, everybody can't be a business owner or how. Yes, you can. 98.9% of y'all playing on the internet, I get stuff from you. You send me this Candy Crush bull. You send me all these games. You on, was that TikTok? That damn site. You got these women twerking all the time using that over different stuff, but you're not spending your time to learn something, to get financial wherewithal, to understand how the game of money is played. The first thing, the game of money is played through business ownership, through a home-based business. And we're not talking about going and trying to rent space. We're talking about running a business from your home, folks, with devices that you see in this presentation on, okay, or using this type of devices. It's simple. Sometimes I think we make things more difficult than what needs to be, and people got to understand it's not that hard. Okay, you take the internet with you everywhere you go. If you got a smartphone or a tablet or whatever, if you're connected to Wi-Fi somewhere, and they got Wi-Fi everywhere, you're connected with the internet everywhere you go. This is where they're talking about the internet of everywhere, everything. We're all there. So this is why I wanted to bring this presentation to you, because we in a community, a lot of communities need to understand there's a need for people to understand you need a home-based business. I'm not talking about a second job. I need to cut that stuff. You need to get the job, J-O-B mindset out. Why would we tell our kids to go to college, get a good education, but you got no job to send them to? You send them to the places that we sitting up here protesting against. Does that make sense, man? We sitting up here, we got all these marches out here now, black and brown people, especially black folks, talking about the wealth gap and all this other stuff. Plus all the inequality between white and black and wealth and job and all this other stuff. But yet we won't put some of that energy in to gain together and understand owning a home-based business. You're streaming yourself marching in an area that you might be putting yourself in danger with the COVID. The COVID ain't gone nowhere, people.
No, it hasn't.
The COVID ain't gone nowhere. Okay.
Yeah, and you know, we just saw a report recently that somebody who was here in town, you know, down at the protest, tested
positive. Yeah, I did see that. Yes, I did see that. I saw that. So right now, we may be having some increases, spike increases. We don't know if we're going to end up having to be shut down again. And then we get into the middle of the summer. Now, how that's going to be?
Exactly.
You know, sometimes it makes me wonder if some things happen just to do the things that they want us to do. We too much of a reaction. If we, you know what? I always say this to people, and I said this too, and then a friend of mine shared something, a person, I don't know where was at, was beat up, and I guess they died of their injuries trying to defend from looters tearing up their shop. Well, I'll never get this about, especially about black folks. You can never convince me you have misplaced anger. If somebody tears up shit, why am I gonna go tear up my neighbor's shit? All you doing is asking for trouble. I don't understand that. This is my problem with this protesting thing, because right now, when you go tear up businesses, when you go tear up stuff that had nothing to do with this, you're making the protests not credible no more.
Oh man, you're froze up.
Huh? I froze up?
I'm gonna wait till you unfreeze.
Okay.
Okay, you just unfroze.
Okay. I said, when you tear up other people's stuff, you make the protest not credible. Okay. So those are the kind of things I have a big problem with protests. I will never, you know, I'm not from that generation that will protest. If I'm gonna get back, if I'm gonna be angry at something, I'm gonna direct the anger at the source that caused the problem. Okay?
And there could be, and I have no, I'm just going off past experience here with in reference to the protest. Some of those folks could be agent provocateurs.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah,
That too. I'm not saying
but
that's not that case.
right.
It's just so many times through years you look at the Compton in East LA and in Newark.
Yes.
We tear up our own shit and then want to get mad because we don't have this store. Well, you tore it up, you burned it up. Why? Come on. And that attitude seems like it's not changed over the years, and that's why I'm saying I'm not gonna have it. You're not gonna come over here and tear up my shit, because I'm gonna remedy that mess. I'm not having it. That's bullshit. You direct those type of things where you direct. It's just like business. You got to, when you're marketing or doing business, you got to find the customer base, and we have sources for that also. Okay, it's all about education, people. If you're not willing to re-educate yourself from what you're doing or to get out what you're doing, do you have no reason to complain? It's just like I put a post out earlier before this, and I hear we're talking about 5 months to the election. Everybody's talking about, well, if you don't vote, you don't have no reason to complain. Well, my whole point of that is, well, you could say the same thing about if you don't start a home-based business, you have no reason to bitch about the wealthy and how much they achieve. The resources out here, people. We just presented you the resources through, I'd like to thank Dr. Richardson and the video that was on there for why you need a home-based business, and she gave you some tips on what you need to do. I mean, you can re-look at this video or this presentation after it's over. I'll probably edit this some and go up on YouTube, on my YouTube channel this week sometime. But you can't complain about it either. If you're going to talk, people can't complain if they don't go vote, don't register vote. You can't complain about not taking advantage of resources to start a home-based business. Hell, a home-based business is easier to start than even going to vote. Really, because they're talking about hindering the vote, not wanting people to the mail-in stuff, and if you don't do this, they're gonna have people standing in line for. I'm not standing in line for 7 hours. See, my attitude about voting, I got a different attitude about voting, and voting to me is all economics, be it local, be it state, be it national. When communities of people have their economics together, they buy the vote. Just chew on that, okay? Y'all can chew on that, okay? We need to understand that game. I'm not gonna get into that much right now, but that's what we need to understand. So I hope you like this presentation that we had tonight on business ownership. There's some fireworks going on out here.
Yeah, I hear them too.
You hear them?
Yeah, I do hear them.
You hear them through my thing, or you hear them over your house?
I hear them on my end,
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I don't see where. It ain't 4th of July and they fire off fireworks.
Right. Yeah, full disclosure, Greg and I are probably about 7 minutes away from each other.
Yeah, that's right. We do. We don't live that. And what people don't know, Thursday night, I lost electricity for 27 hours, people. Because a tree, I live behind a football field and there's a light post. And what was so bad, the people across the street had electricity. You've been through this before. It was just on my side of the street, the grid was all out. 27 damn hours. And the reason was because the homeowners insurance's tree fell. We had the storm. They were fighting over how to get the tree off because it fell off on two houses. I said, damn, that tree, cut the tree in half, put the damn pole up. Now this is 80, I got what is it? What is this play? AET? What is the name of the electric company here?
Oh, yeah.
AEP. AEP, they come out of New York.
Yeah.
They are pain in the butt sometimes. and it took that long. In fact, that afternoon, it was supposed to be back up at 1, and it fucked around and messed around. They were doing something at one of the lines down here, because it was popping on and off, the electric. So we got the electric back about 4:15 that afternoon on Friday. From 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Thursday, we're out all that time. I've been out as long as 7 days. We had the ice storms in 2004. We have a derecho windstorm in the summer that knocked us out through July 4th, to the 4th of July week. I was working at Time Warner then.
Yeah. I remember that, and the same thing happened. We didn't have power, but boy, them folks across the street, just like nothing happened. You know?
Yeah, that happened, like I said, 2004 at the ice storm. Everybody, it knocked out the whole grid on this side. I live on the west side of Greenway, well, west side towards the sun, where the sun sits. The other people on the east side of the street, they had electricity. The guy pisses you off. Happened 2 times, people. Well, the derecho knocked everybody out. That didn't happen. And during the derecho, everybody was in the same boat.
Yes.
At 2012, everybody was in the same boat. So we were all just sitting around here. No, I had to grill up a lot of stuff. But you know, it's just, it's life. I was kind of heated for the simple fact that, you know, trying to do some things, I couldn't do this. And I've been through this shit before. It's not fun. It really ain't fun when it's cold. I'm not, ask Kent, I am not the one. See, Kent's the meat locker guy. He loves meat locker. Yes, I call when it get cold, you know, he loves the meat locker. Now, when it's getting like summer like this, he said, he calls this weather for me 1 degree from hell.
2 degrees.
Or 2 degrees from hell. So, you know, I don't know.
Even the devil be like, ah.
It was hot.
Can we turn up the AC a little bit?
So, I hope you got some value from this presentation when we talked about why you need a home-based business. Let me see what else she had to say on here. She's probably trying to sell some other stuff, but that's fine. But I want you to get more value what we were talking about. Let me go if I can go a little bit ahead, see what else she had to say.
Or if you don't know what you would do in a home-based business, that's why you come to the class. So in the Freedom Package, you get the class, but you get the structure. So sometimes with
okay, let's go here.
What we missed. I just learned that about Rockefeller just this year.
Yeah, I
didn't know that before.
About Rockefeller. Let me go back here. She talked.
Changes, you gotta know when things are gonna change. So
let me go back here.
nails, you could do, like there's so many things. DJs, MLM, people are in Mary Kay, they're in Melaleuca, they're in Beachbody, they're in all kind of things. You can be a virtual assistant. You can, what do you know how to do? What do you know how to do? So I'm not even gonna say right now, of course, in the how to start a home-based business, I go through like a lot of different things to give people structure. But the truth is, if you don't know how to start a home-based business, or if you don't know what you would do in a home-based business, That's why you come to the class. So in the freedom package, you get the class, but you get the structure. So sometimes with things, it's like life is overwhelming us and we want to just get to the answer. You can't just get to the answer. See, this is like division. You think you could just learn division? Like come into school one day and learn it? No, 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 no. If you weren't there for addition, subtraction, and multiplication, you will never learn division. It's impossible. Like if you put a long division problem in front of anybody who's smart, I have a math degree. And if I want to do a long division problem, I gotta, okay, so now which rule do I use? Okay, so now I'm gonna multiply. Okay, you carry that. Okay, you subtract. Do you understand what I'm saying? So when it comes to this, see, people think getting their money straight is something that they're supposed to know how to do. No, you're not. It's supposed to be taught. And as a matter of fact, it wasn't until Rockefeller and Mr. J.P. Morgan Chase himself got together hundreds of years ago and did what?
Took it right on out.
Took it out of the system.
Rockefeller was quoted as saying, "I'm not trying to create thinkers, I'm trying to create workers."
People, chew on that for a minute. I'm not here to create thinkers, I'm here to create workers. In a book I've always been talking about, you don't hear this in network marketing, by Robert Kiyosaki, called The Conspiracy of the Rich. And it talks about how that same statement, the Rockefellers, how they had a educational system called the General Educational Board. And what they just said is true. They said the whole educational system was set up for compliance. It was set up using to discipline military. We want for education for school and whatsoever, and workers, okay? That whole system that we work, go to school, get a good job, retire, that's what he's talking about. And most people, when we went from the farming age to the industrial age, this is what happened with the industrial age, with Rockefellers, Vanderbilts, and all that stuff. They took all this stuff, created people from going to gave, said, look, we'll pay your this and that and other thing. But things changed after we went on with a lot of things. And when they changed how they wanted the structure of the way people worked, they didn't want work. They didn't want thinkers. They didn't want creative people. They didn't want people to thought out of the box. They want people to stay in this box so they control them. There was a 60-minute, talking about control, I posted. There was a 60-minute thing that talked about the Bible and how there were certain excerpts of the Bible was taken off to use as a slave Bible to enslave black folks. Certain things were taken out purposely. So, and there's articles they're talking about. I ran into another thing about 7 places in the world that you're not allowed. There's a place in the Vatican where they took out a lot of stuff in the Bible. And basically they're saying that the Bible was written about our history, black folks' history, African people's history. And they took a lot of that stuff out to keep us compliant. That's one of the ways they were able to enslave black folks. And this is how they are still able to enslave people economically here. It went from slave labor to enslaving a lot of folks. Okay, from an economic standpoint. Like I said, the General Educational Board, look that up. That was developed by the Rockefeller Foundation. This is why people are struggling, and this is why you need a home-based business to. There's a whole lot of re-education that needs to be done that is not taught in school. Financial wherewithal is not taught in school. It's taught for you to be compliant. Hey, if you ever watch the movie The Matrix, that's what I'm talking about. Okay? With that being said, I've been on here about an hour. I want to try to keep these things for about an hour, a little over an hour. Won't be here too long because I know a lot of y'all got to go to work tomorrow. Even if you got to roll out y'all's bed to your office, y'all got to go to work tomorrow. Y'all got to be compliant. Some of y'all got to meet that mule and jump on the road, even in this COVID arena. and still got to be. It's like I said, I'll never go back to no call center mess. Like I said, call center nothing but petri dishes now. Okay, you get all the people all botched up and cubicles everywhere. No. So I hope you got value of what we're talking about. I hope maybe if you're watching, took some notes. You can rewatch this thing later on. Like I said, when I ran across this video, I knew I had to share this out. Yes, we're going to be trying. We're going to continue. We're going to try some different things, but I'm gonna still have my business partner Kent on as a panelist. No matter if I'm on doing it from here or whatever, we're here to educate you. We're both in business. We got both separate business. We both try to help each other with different information. That's what that stuff was. We're also an affiliate to a network marketing business also. I'm gonna do some things on Tuesday, my Tuesday Tips business. You'll find out about that also. But right now, like I said, this whole video was to help you, inform you why you need a home-based business. Necessary, people. That being said, like I said, every week after my Sunset Sunday, stress kills more people than anything else. Les Brown says that. Y'all get stressed out because you don't want to go to the jobs that you hate. 98.9% of y'all hate your jobs and you stress out. And your heart attack rate goes up, stroke attack rate goes up 35, 40%, maybe 50, 60% because of what we're in now. Why do that? Get your home-based business, people. If you want to know how, get in touch with me or Kent. We help you with that. With that being said, this is Greg Smith. Kent, you got any last words?
Yeah, it's just, I mean, yeah, just quickly. I mean, with Greg had touched upon the ride situation and everything with the home-based business, and just like Greg and I stated, we are not talking about brick and mortar. So if this thing should ever happen again, if you have your home-based business, you don't have to worry about insurance costs, or you don't have to worry about cleaning up the mess after this the rioters and the looters got to your brick and mortar business. You have your home-based business, you don't have to worry about that overhead. And just like Dr. Richardson said, and I knew there were some tax breaks, but I didn't know there were 450 of them.
I didn't either.
And you owe it to yourself to at least be open to the knowledge of starting a home-based business in this situation now.
I mean, you know what? You gotta look at it this way. If you can't find the time or you're not open to it, keep giving. It's like she said too. You keep giving your money to the IRS. That's what you're gonna do. If you're not open to having a home-based business or the time or trying to find the time, and keep paying those high taxes, as we showed you on the cash flow quadrant. As an employee, you pay the highest taxes in the world. As a business owner or investor, you pay the lowest. That's the game. I didn't make the rules. You follow the rules of that, you get the benefits of it. And like she said, with all the stuff, with all the stimulus packages and all the other stuff as a business owner, those are the type of things you get. Okay? You got to check the SBC, all that kind of stuff you get. Business has been around since day immemorial. Everybody can be a business owner if they choose to. It ain't that you can't. It's just that a lot of y'all won't. And then you can't complain. Just like you were talking about. People who don't vote can't complain. People don't play the game of money and Werenthal can't complain either. With that being said, this is Greg Smith, Kent Roberson. We'll see you on next Sunday's show. 8:45 is now where we're going because it's closer to the sunset. People take care. Share this out if you think you got value. With that being said, I'm out. Peace. Later.
Stay safe, everybody.